Born with no eyes, it cannot see the world around it. Without a mouth, it cannot scream. Well, that was a bit dramatic. We start out without a way to move, because the malicious entity that created us neglected to include any sort of mobility. In this stage of the game, we try to evolve our creature into becoming a multi-celled organism by eating food, either plant matter in green or meat in red. If you're unable to tell them apart because you're colorblind, then because we have no way of steering or propelling ourselves, we generally have to wriggle and hope the currents take us towards food. Our first interaction with another living creature set the tone for this entire playthrough. Given the creator's inherent desire to consume, we were blessed with 2 mouths, and got a bit lucky as some meat happened to fall directly into our digestive system. After this, we grew and were immediately attacked by all living things in the vicinity. As I watched them tear apart our desiccated corpse, my sole thought was this: one day, we'd purge this entire planet of any sort of life. Given our lack of any sort of defense or ability to get away, the only thing we could do to not die was to clash jaws with other creatures, which surprisingly worked pretty well, until it didn't. See, most of this has been cut, but I would die again and again, and everything did its best to make me quit the game and end the recording. This will become a recurring theme from here on out, because, let me tell you, Spore hates nothing more than a player actually playing it. Why are we born just to die? We can also pick up cell parts when we see something else die, meaning we can then add them to our cell. The issue here is that we need to actually go and collect it, and did I mention we can't swim? Picking up a few scraps and scoring a rare kill, oh, there we go, meant that it was time to find a mate. And here we find another cursed aspect to this playthrough. Generally, when you call for a mate in the cell stage, you both swim towards each other. However, because neither of us can swim, I've accidentally created a cell which can't actually mate, or as I call it, an incel. This is such a stupid joke. Eventually, the currents became favourable enough that I could produce an heir. Our god and creator opted to add as many spikes as possible to our special boy, so he could begin to rain hell upon the world that had hurt us. Feeling a bit safer with these added defences, a stroke of luck meant there was enough discarded scraps nearby where we hatched to take us to the next stage. However, Karma is a bitch that seems to enjoy beating me until I promised to make better choices. So, in an attempt to make said better choices, we went for some veggies. Oh, food. No! But if Karma's gonna play dirty, and so can we. Yeah, alright then. You don't know what it's like to be cursed by a god? Well, come on then! That's what I thought. Our hunting strategy at this point was simple. Just wait for something to bump into us, which actually went surprisingly well. After many deaths, we picked up a proboscis.
Yes!
Proboscis? Tobuscus? Wait, didn't he get done for like... We picked up a proboscis, at which point I knew we had to deploy Laith's suck and spike technology. Patent pending. This was a simple strategy, where we'd lie in wait for anything edible, be it flora or fauna. Once something stumbled upon us, we'd consume it like a parasite, using our spiky exterior to fend off larger, unconsumable creatures. Also, I corrected my grammar. The only issue with this mouth is that we had to draw from living creatures. No longer could we subsist off of scraps. I've no clue why this is. It's sort of like synthetic diamonds being perfectly fine, but people are willing to pay a premium for the mined ones. I guess it's the suffering that makes it valuable. Can't eat this kind. I can only eat from when it causes suffering. Organic diamonds, but they're like, oh no, the human suffering makes it important. Oh, I should write that in the script. The almighty creator opted to make other additions, such as a taser and poison to crown our toxic king, which the game itself voiced displeasure at by attempting to give me epilepsy. Despite our offensive weapons, our lack of mobility meant that we were struggling to even catch a leaf. It's so bad that it's actually impossible to tell if other members of our species are even alive, only activating when prey is literally thrust in front of them. And I couldn't be more proud. Consuming more and more living matter awakened us to the concept that pain is fun. And with that, we end the cell stage. Yes! As the architect of our species divined from the very beginning, we ended up as omnivores, which makes sense because we want to end all life. Taking a moment to reflect on the stage, it was horrible and took way longer than it should have and caused me permanent brain damage. So 6 out of 10. With a ferocious roar, the Canaanites announced themselves to the world. In the creature stage, we can either choose to befriend or murder other species, ally or make enough species go extinct and we'll gain sentience, much like real life. I think you already know where this is going. Naturally, we prepare to kill the very first thing we come across. What the hell are you? But this thing gave us reason to pause. This was a goob. Looking at it, we saw a creature as wretched and twisted as ourselves. Could it be that the goob were not so different from us? a fellow species that wanted to end all life. After briefly discussing how we think that milk does indeed go in before cereal, an alliance was struck. Once our divine overlord saw fit to bless us with the ability to see for the first time, we found our first real targets and immediately attacked. They didn't put up much of a fight, but they did end up fleeing. Notice our distinct lack of legs. This makes chasing things rather tricky, so we looked for more targets, but all we found was our old friend, Karma. Ah! Yeah, we also didn't have the ability to run away from things, so we're immediately killed by a two-headed bird thing. Despite this setback, we did get back to our violent ways, and once we took out enough species, our brains had to expand in order to fit all the new and inventive ways of creating suffering. One such tactic was using the special ability we get from being an omnivore, to summon a group of creatures to jump whoever crosses our path. Not gonna lie, these flies disturb me IRL to such a degree that I never summon them again because, well, look at them. The fly things also disturb the rest of our species because they immediately left for a new nest.
Oh, they bloody abandoned me, haven't they?
This happens sometimes in the creature stage. All we need to do is go to the new nest by following a map. The only issue we could face is if we were an incredibly slow-moving creature that all species harbour an inherent hatred towards.
Oh, what's that, big fish? You want to scrap?
Scrap this. Get him, lads! They're way more powerful! Just run, boys! Oh my god! No! No! Speaking of things that hate us, allow me to introduce, once again, our antagonist, Spore itself. After dying, the game crashed. You may think, no big deal, Laith, just boot up the game again and crack on. But you'd be an idiot and the main reason your parents are getting divorced, because Spore just doesn't save. That's right, the main menu might say creature stage unlocked, but also gaslights you by saying you never actually played. Because I hadn't saved manually, all progress was lost. However, at this point, I felt the species wasn't cursed enough, so for the next round, I brought in the big guns. My girlfriend.
Ugh. That
looks normal, but that's probably better for attacking. Does that work?
It's gone.
Oh my god. That's weirdly...
It looks like it's called Norbert. Given we were so much weaker than everyone else, it was time to deploy another strategy I like to call the victim. Basically, we attack a creature from a distance and then leg it back to the nest, where all our fellow anti-lifers will dogpile onto them, which was very effective. The opposite to the victim strategy is the cowardly attack. For this one, we see a large creature attacking a nest and simply join in on the large creature's side, which was very effective. When I said that bringing my girlfriend along increased the amount of curse, I wasn't kidding.
You've copied their moustaches as well.
it's copyright infringement, so we're gonna go for it.
Copyright infringement. No.
Was that a facial hair joke?
Yeah, that's I'm sorry.
We'll write that down.
No, please don't. No.
I promise I wouldn't include that clip, so this is a test to see if she actually watches the videos. Presumably, as an understandable reaction to all of this, the game then attempted to murder us by sending a literal meteor storm our way. God's trying to kill us. Oh! Clearly, this was the game insulting me personally, so I responded by doing the most cursed thing I could think of. Turning my girlfriend into the second coming of the all-powerful creator and letting her design our race as she saw fit.
That's charm level 3.
Charm level 3 is good. That's perfect.
Charm level 3 is a bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god!
Let him go!
He's got scoliosis.
What are you trying to do?
I was trying to move the...
There you go, when it's blue, there you go.
Hey, maybe if he's longer, he can go faster.
Okay, sure, don't touch it. We'll see what happens.
Hang on.
Oh no, you've broken him. All my hard work.
I'm so sorry.
Well, you did this.
Worryingly, she was way better at this than I was.
Look at the boys, look at the crew. Nothing's making friends with that.
To celebrate, we murdered more species until we reached the next level of brain development. But remember, what goes up must always come down.
Oh my god.
After dying from shock, life got even worse as the second migration had taken place. Fortunately, we were able to recruit our dear mother who would join us as we ventured into the unknown to track down our species. We were joined at the hip, completely inseparable, apart from when, naturally, I sacrificed her to survive.
They killed our mother!
No!
Spurred on by this, we rendered one final species extinct before achieving sentience and realizing our one true purpose: planetary extinction. As our society becomes more complex, we shift from controlling a single individual to an entire race. Gameplay also shifts, requiring us to gather food as currency which can be spent on new tribe members or buildings which unlock new equipment for us to specialize in. We start off with just our lone chieftain. What the hell was that? which is fine because he's managed to perfect the art of self-replication. Don't want to go into that hut. I don't know what cursed things are going on in there. Of course, it's not too long before another tribe turns up. Buh. I can give the whole spiel about how we could take the cooperative path and win through the power of friendship. We already know that we're gathering the boys, handing out spears, and it's off to war. To reward our violent acts in the previous stage, we've got the fireball ability, which is where our chieftain commits small-scale war crimes. Unfortunately, we got a bit excited and it fired too early. Alright, chill up, big guy. Happens to all of us. Taking great pleasure in the screams of the damned, our society evolves further, and we gain access to the defeated tribe's knowledge, which in this case is nothing. Usually you learn something from a defeated tribe, but these guys had nothing. Whilst we were busy, 3 more tribes have risen up. Green, Pink, and Cyan. Each with its own rich and unique history and culture. History and culture, that is, that we're going to completely erase. We're going to need to always be at our population cap, making it necessary to adopt a policy of intensive agriculture and investing in children. A sentence that has all sorts of red lights flashing at YouTube HQ. But there we were, minding our own business, when Cyan goes for a raid on us, before we were at 100% strength. Fortunately, they only had torches, and famously, spears beat torches when it comes to combat. As they'd lost a few of their people, I felt it prudent to launch a quick counterattack whilst they were weakened. Those sneaky purple bastards took the opportunity to nick our food at this point, and Green led by their example. Despite this, we successfully invaded Cyan, with a little bit of help from this beastie, who decided he was a fan of the channel, and lent us a hand by viciously tearing apart some of their tribes from limb from limb. Returning from our second successful conquest, a change of tactics was in order. We just discovered the concept of fishings from our landlocked victims. Don't question it. And seeing as we were on the coast, it seemed like a great way to get food, right? Wrong. So terribly wrong. Whilst we were peacefully fishing, Green and Pink raided us in quick succession. Weirdly enough, it seems that our relations have been worsened by the slaughter of our invaders. Enraged, we launched an attack on Pink, swift revenge for their dastardly raids. However, apparently half our troops had turned into conscientious objectors overnight, and they simply refused to throw their spears, resulting in the elimination of our people. Confused as to where we had gone wrong, the answer suddenly became clear. We had ignored the drip. Freshly dripped out, dispatching Pink was a simple task. From there, we prepared to go for Green, but a new tribe, Lavender, charged us, which left them weak for an immediate counterattack. Unfortunately, our chief was rather useless, so we left him behind whilst our tribesmen furthered our people's aims. I still unforgiven for the firebomb fiasco. We made short work of Lavender before my immersion was completely shattered. Your eyes do not deceive you. The creature that hadn't saved, the one that almost caused me to scrap this video entirely, was somehow in my game. How does that work, Spore? How can you not save my progress in the creature stage, but then display said creature in the very next game? What is this vicious mockery? Forgetting the context of the video for a minute, this genuinely frustrated me. But fortunately, Green decided to attack, presenting an ideal outlet for my annoyance. Watch as your tribe burns, idiot. And with that, the tribal stage comes to a close. But now, we look to the future. As a species, we began to discuss the mechanisms by which we'd be able to fulfill our destiny, complete planetary eradication. As we enter the final stage of the game, we have more of a city builder type thing going on. Essentially, we have factories that make money, entertainment centers that make people happy, and houses to imprison our citizens. After spending a few hours designing our buildings, we sent out tanks to capture local spice geezers for increased income. On the way, I found some less advanced members of our species. So, naturally, you already know the rest. That's right, they instantly leap ahead on technology to be on par with us. I've heard that's always what happens to a native populace, right? At this point, you can see that several other civilizations spring up on the world map. We share our continent with the aforementioned Reds, but in the time it's taken me to say that, the orange lot have conquered the green are attacking us with seacraft, something that we haven't even designed yet. Sensing we were falling behind, we rushed to take out Red and then captured it. Lavish celebrations were had upon the surrender of people who literally never fired a shot since they had such little time to prepare. For whatever reason, Blue then decided to declare war on us. And to make matters worse, they had aircraft. To make matters even worse, Orange was hard focusing us, despite the fact that Blue was steadily conquering their holdings. When I say hard focusing, I mean they threw everything they had at our capital city, meaning we were falling further and further behind. I was pretty convinced that we had lost. So we turtled up and focused on our economy. Considering we were never going to beat the hare in a foot race, I figured we'd have a shot at bribing someone to brutally murder the hare and their extended family, just like Aesop's classic fable. Perhaps sensing this, Yellow then sent a request for cash. However, my earlier joke about colorblind people looped right back around because then I confused Yellow for Orange and declined, thereby getting another civilization that was more powerful to attack us. Things were looking rather bleak. However, Blue had done us a solid in decimating Orange's forces, leaving us able to sneak in and nab another city. This was crucial, as it enabled us to commit our first proper war crime, leading to the surrender of the next city. At this point, we managed to invent flight, a leap forward in innovation that would change the face of warfare forever. So, obviously, we completely ignored it. Instead, we focused on naval power, seeing as most cities were coastal. When I say focused, I mean we purged every single land vehicle and replaced them with seafaring ones instead. This proved to be a very solid choice as we ruthlessly dispatched Yellow, ending the last threat we had. Now, the end of the civilization stage is meant to be the part where I tell you how we unified our people and looked to the stars. It's meant to be the story of unification, the closing of a brutal chapter in our people's history as we free ourselves from the shackles of gravity and venture forth. But this isn't one of those stories. What did I tell you at the start of this video? Our sole aim was to end all life on this planet, and countered at every turn by God and Karma themselves, we finally pushed the button. Huge shout out to my Patreons. Most importantly, Redguard76, Lewis Wright, Ryan B, Atreides, Blenderman, Crilly, Ghostwolf, JadeOut52, Xiaomi, Luque, Matthew McHugh, Mike473, Mikey Lewis, Original, Shadow Singer, and Tom. Your support means a lot, guys. Whilst you're here, why not watch another video? I mean, it's right there. Just click on it.